Hello, friends. I want to tell you about something very strange that happened to me and my friends in the summer. It was one of those days when it seemed like nothing could make me happy. And then suddenly, as if by some miracle, everything changed. My mood improved dramatically and I even began to laugh a lot. You might think I went to some amusement park or something like that, but no, not at all. The reason for my joy was an ordinary old abandoned carnival that appeared out of nowhere. It all started when my friend Petya called me and invited me to go with him, his sister Sveta, and their friend Kolya to some place he'd discovered while walking in the forest. He didn't say exactly what it was, but promised it was very interesting. Of course, I couldn't refuse, so I agreed to meet them near the bus stop. When we met, Kolya said he had an old bike, so he invited us to ride it to this place. But the more time passed, the more upset I became because it turned out that we were going in the wrong direction. We rode past our regular bus stop and then a few more, and when we finally reached the place, I was ready to burst. It turned out we'd been riding around the city for more than an hour, but when they told me what they'd found, I immediately forgot about my bad mood. They took me to a clearing in the forest where an abandoned carnival had appeared. There were several old cars, a house with ticket booths, a Ferris wheel, a carousel, and many other attractions. Everything looked very old and worn out, as if it had been abandoned a long time ago. We explored the territory, imagining how it might have looked in its heyday. There were no people around and it was getting dark, so we decided to leave. But before that, Sveta wanted to take a picture of the Ferris wheel. She stood right in front of it and raised her arms up like she was about to ride. Suddenly, Petya suggested we take a picture of me. I don't know why, but I agreed without thinking much of it. When Sveta developed the film in the darkroom, she realized that in one of the pictures there was someone else in the background. It was an old man dressed in a suit that looked like he'd just come out of a vintage movie. He was standing right behind me and smiling. But when I looked at the photo closely, I saw that his smile was a little creepy. His eyes were also strange, as if they were made of glass. I remember showing this photo to my parents, and they just laughed. But as soon as they left, I hurried to show it to my friend who was visiting me at the time. When he saw the picture, his smile disappeared. "Let's get out of here," he said. "This is some kind of cursed place." And as soon as we got home, I checked my phone and realized that although we'd arrived at the carnival at around 6 p.m., it was already 10 p.m. It was incredible because we hadn't noticed the time passing. But the most frightening thing was that according to the weather forecast, it would rain cats and dogs that night. But when I went out into the street, it wasn't raining. In fact, it was such a beautiful night that I couldn't help but smile. That's how I spent my summer, exploring an abandoned carnival that appears once every 10 years and taking a picture with a creepy old man who knows something we do not. After hearing my story, my friend couldn't believe it. "Are you serious? Are you trying to scare me?" he asked. "No, I'm serious," I replied. "Why would I make all of this up? They say that sometimes the line between reality and dreams is very thin, and all you have to do is find that magical place where the rules of the world are a little different. Maybe there really is a carnival somewhere in our city, or maybe it was just a dream. I don't know. But one thing I'm sure about is that if you ever hear the sound of a distant calliope, then run away from that place as fast as you can, because they say the music of the forgotten carnival can drive you crazy. What do you think? Did I really take a picture with the devil? Or was it just a simple coincidence? Write your thoughts in the comments below. See you later. Bye.